All right, guys, so we're not in the garden today. We're going to use up some food we found in the garden, though. My family's hungry and wants some dinner, and sometimes we are all faced with having to cook a meal and we're tired ourselves. We love the crock pot. We have an Instapot, too. We got all the pots. If there's a pot that's going to make my life easy, I own the thing. Anyway, so what we have right here, these are dried beans. I grew these. This is all shelled beans and a few pieces of still, you can see the bits of still the exteriors that I haven't gotten it all out, but I don't really care. I'll even eat that. I only want to pick through so much and it's good enough. So these are our beans. This was a Rosso and a Boraletto, I believe, were these two. Those, and then we have what is super fun, these tiny guys. This is a Chinese noodle bean, same thing. So there's quite a few different beans in here. Anyway, what we're gonna do is make bean soup with, found some parsnips the other day. I already cut up the giant one. So in here we've already got simple onion from the garden. I found some carrots too. This looks like tofu. That's parsnip. That's not tofu. That's delicious parsnip. And that's all we're going to do. And then we've got some fresh garlic. Also, with your beans, you can use water. That's fine. I used to only use water, but I'm going to actually use, I had some broth left over in the farm stand that I hate when there's one item. I can't stand that. I got to remove it and use it. So simple. I'm sure a lot of you have already made bean soups, but this is not traditional because we're using the garden stuff. We're using what we just found. If you're growing in your garden, and a lot of people say they are, but I don't think they really are, because if you're truly gardening and you're growing stuff on a farm, you're going to find a carrot here, a squash there, you know, a cucumber plant over there. It's amazing how I didn't plant this stuff, and I don't want it to go to waste. So we pull it and immediately try to use it in something. Do carrots go with beans? I don't know. I don't care. They're going to today. The way I cook is it all goes together. And it makes a delicious meal. If I overthink it, nobody's going to eat. So we start with our beans. I use dried beans, guys. This is the thing I'm going to show y'all. So are you soaking your beans? Well, I used to. I don't anymore. And all you that tell me about the oxalates and the stuff from not soaking that I'm not done, I get it. You're going to fart and poop, I promise, after you eat these beans. I look at it like a good clean out. I don't soak anymore. I don't have time. I cook the beans, and I'll be cooking these all day today till tomorrow. So this won't be done tonight. This, my dad, when he cooked beans, that's the way it rolls in my family. You do a 24 or 36 hour on the beans. So we've got our beans. Let's add in our veggies with the parsnip done. Now, here's a rule of thumb, guys. While I'm adding all this, you're going to notice I'm not going to add any seasonings. Okay, that's garlic. That was like a whole bulb, I think. Do not add any salt to your beans. When you're doing it this way, if you've noticed that you cooked your dried beans and went, why are they hard? Why are they hard? Because salt was in there. Whether you added a ham that had salt on it, whatever you did. If salt goes in this pot when these beans are drying like this, you're going to end up with crunchy, hard, nasty beans. I know, because I've made my family eat it before. So, no salt when we're cooking. When the beans are soft and you come back and you eat it and go, oh, that's delicious, add your seasonings now. You know, I could add some basil and stuff right now. No need to. Or not basil, whatever you want to add. I was just throwing basil out there. So, let's throw some fluid in there. Did you guys notice the gelatinous on that? Okay, that's not bad. That's rooster booster broth. I don't know if you guys have paid attention. Come take a look at this. Jiggle, 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 jiggle. Look in the pot at the jiggling. Okay, so that's how your bone broth should look if it was cooked correctly. It should look like a gelatinous blob. There's nothing wrong with these. And those chunks, that's fat. This is my pork palooza. Let me tell you, do I love some fat. I don't look like it, but oh, look at that gelatin galore on the porky bone. I mean, you can see here, look. See it jiggling? Oh, chunks of gigolo. Oh.
Looks like it's so good for your joints.
Let me tell you guys. Oh, I can't even get it to stop jiggling. Does anybody want some Jell-O? Anyway. This is why I say make those bone broths, because here's what's happening, folks. If you're not making the bone broth, you're probably going to go, oh, I don't want to make the beans. I just have, well, wish I had that bone broth. Well, guess what? Make it then. Quit talking about it and get in the kitchen and make it. You don't have to run a farm to do what I'm doing, okay? Now, I run a farm, and this is exhausting, not 24/7, 25/8, okay? If I have a few hours left to sleep, it's almost a promise that someone's like, maybe you should cut it out of your sleep so you can get that job done. So, no excuses. If you're not cooking for your family, they're sick because they're going out. And nothing you're going to get out is going to be as good as this. So, we've got all of our broths. I'm going to give it a quick mixture, and I'm going to basically, here's how I do it. We're going to go on high. As soon as I see it percolating and really getting some, it's cruising. It's at a high speed, and we're, it's like pissing out the steam and stuff. At that point, then I go down to low. And I will do low until we eat tomorrow night, not tonight. And you guys will be amazed. I don't know how many of you are growing beans, but if you're growing even green beans, you might be a little confused because you can actually shell the green bean too. People don't realize they're looking for, what is this type of bean? Do I have to have a pinto? If it's called a bean, it makes a bean inside. The difference is the green bean, we can actually eat the husk outside because it's tender and it a lot of times doesn't have a spine, the string. Actual beans like this that were for dried beans, you can still eat the pod. You got to catch it sooner because it can get very tough. That's the only difference. But if you're growing anything called bean and you choose to just say, I didn't harvest any of those green beans, what a shame. It's not a shame. Let the plant die with all those pods on it. Then beat them in a sack. I commonly like a pillow sack. Take it and just beat the crap out of it. It'll loosen all the pods off, and you'll be able to easily filter through a screen your beans. You want to get into beans. They're a great food, guys. They're something that we can just have when the world goes to hell in a handbasket. You're going to be able to have some beans to eat. And you know what? You're not going to have the filet mignon, chances are, but you might be able to find some beans. So, not that we're living in that already, but I think it's something we should all know. My grandma was born in 1920, and my grandpa was born in 1915, and boy, they survived. My grandpa survived the Dust Bowl era. So if you've watched The Grapes of Wrath, my grandpa actually lived that life and talked about it as if he was the richest man on earth, which is the craziest thing. My grandma led a farming life, very poor also, and they've been through the recession and all that. And let me tell you something they have in their house was dried beans, lots of them. Split peas, lots of them. So, this time that we start thinking like our grandparents used to. They knew how to make food last. Food's getting super expensive, guys. So, simple soup like this may not look like much right now, but by the time we eat this tomorrow night, it'll be divine. I love how my parsnip looks like tofu chunks because I love tofu. But boy, it certainly looks like little tofu-y chunks. So anyway, we're going to just leave this on high. Probably in a couple hours, I'll turn it down to low. And I'll take some pictures for everybody and show them what you guys it looks like tomorrow night because it's going to be really delicious. Get in the kitchen, guys. Start providing some nourishment to your family so they have no other options other than what you've provided.